Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Northwest Quadrant Wealth Management's e-news. Thank you for joining us. It is quite smoky here in the state of Oregon, so hopefully you are somewhere where there is not so much smoke out there. So this week we thought we'd talk about the market bifurcation that's going on. We're starting to see a rotation in the market. And so time will tell if it's going to be persistent, but ultimately it leads to what do you do about the market bifurcation, and that is have a globally diversified investment portfolio, which is what we have your money in. So Josh will talk about where we're seeing the movements, but first I want to talk about the market is acting very similarly to what we saw in the late 1990s. Some of you might remember that. We saw tech, telecom, and media stocks growing to the moon. We had valuations that didn't make any sense. And we're starting to see some of the same things happen with Tesla and Nikola and different parts of the technology market. Right now, as we sit here today, 30% of the S&P 500, the stocks in the S&P 500 are down 20% or more, and so the market has actually recovered quite a bit, but it's not the whole market. So we're seeing the leaders be those big five tech names, but there are a lot of other companies that are not faring nearly as well as a lot of those names. So what does that mean for you? Well, if we look back to the late 1990s, we know. We saw that bubble burst in the year 2000, March of 2000, and then it was 2 years, 2000, where the market was down 10%, 2001, where the market was down 13%, and then 2002, where the market was down 30+%. So we saw a 50% drawdown. But in that period of 2000 through 2002, if you had a globally diversified portfolio that included international, emerging markets, small cap stocks, mid cap stocks, value stocks, you actually made money over that period. So we think we're setting up for something very similar, and where diversification is going to matter more than ever.
This is a week where we have the biggest initial public offering slate since Uber of last year. We also have a flurry of deal-making activity. NVIDIA buying ARM, special purpose acquisition companies merging. So you really see the height of optimism playing out in the technology space. And a week after we saw essentially a 10% correction in stocks there, the subtle shifts going on underneath the surface. I follow Union Pacific quite closely. Union Pacific has actually outperformed the S&P since the start of September by 6%. You're seeing a resurgence in small value. You also see the materials index hit a fresh all-time high today. Home builders are ripping. Union Pacific is more emblematic of transports generally, which are doing quite well, and transports are usually a leading indicator for the rest of the market. And so you're actually seeing the early signs of a cyclical recovery. Technology valuations remain at essentially all-time highs, eclipsing that of even the tech, telecom, media bubble of the 2000s. And so international also has outpaced S&P since the onset of September. It was actually positive on the week last week. So we believe that some of the positioning that we've done over the last couple of years is finally starting to work, and that investors should remain and anticipate additional volatility here as the election draws closer.
Yeah, so Josh made a good point there. The election is going to cause volatility. There is no binary decision that needs to be made around the election, meaning all in or all out. We will see volatility, but no matter who gets elected to the White House, stocks are still going to trade higher because they are a proxy for earnings, and earnings will grow over time. And so we're not making any binary decisions about who's going to be in the White House come January. So expect volatility. The fall has historically been volatile. Now we throw in an election and quite probably a contested election, and that will add more volatility. But the important thing to take away from this is we are seeing overvaluations. Overvaluations can go on a lot longer than you think they should, but when they do finally correct, it's very important to be globally diversified and have lots of different asset classes, which is what we have in your portfolio. So if you have questions about your situation or want to talk about your situation, give our office a call to get that scheduled. 800-743-0988. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks.